of Eddie Buffalo Live, number 4, is brought to you by our friends at Moonstone Nutrition. That's moonstonenutrition.com. It's for people that, like me, that have trouble with kidney stones. Stone Stopper by Moonstone is a doctor-developed, science-backed kidney health solution with 30, I can never say that, MEQ of alkali citrate to prevent kidney stones. Available in powders and capsules. Enjoy an inclusive discount of 30% off when you use the promo code Buffalo. That's our friends at moonstonenutrition.com. All right. Well, I think we're about ready to start the show. This is a little bit of an impromptu show because I wanted to share a little bit about our history of me growing up and my family and what we celebrate the day after Easter. First of all the comments and statements by Eddie Buffalo are purely for entertainment purposes. So Dingus Day isn't till Monday, but I thought I would do a Dingus Day preview so that anybody that's not in the cities that it's celebrated could actually do it. It's mostly Polish communities in the Northeast, but I know there are transplants all over the country, all over the world for that matter, that love to celebrate Dingus Day. I don't know about the icon. He looks kind of like a cranky buffalo, but we'll see what's happening. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day today. It looks very overcast here in Dallas, but it's nice out temperature wise, so I'm looking to having a really good day. And please comment and like as much as you want, because I would love to answer some questions. And we are also broadcasting live on TikTok. So what is Dingus Day? Okay, basically it's a celebration that you're celebrating the end of Lent. You're celebrating, the day after Easter, kind of like a rebirth for everyone, spring-wise, and along with our religious traditions in the Catholic faith that Jesus came back. And I'm not making this religious, but it is on Monday this year. It's on Monday, April 21st, 2025. And I'm going to read a little bit about it to give you a little bit of the history. What is the meaning of Dingus Day? Dingus Day, also known as Wet Monday or Schmingus Dingus, that's how you say it in Polish, actually, is a holiday celebrated the Monday after Easter. It's a Polish tradition, particularly strong in Polish American communities, and is seen as a day of fun, celebration, and releasing the restrictions of Lent. The name Dingus is thought to be related to historical tradition of water throwing, which could be interpreted as a symbolic cleansing. So basically what happens on Dingus Day, and I got to share these pictures, they're fantastic. Basically, the young ladies either sprinkle water with a squirt gun or whatever else they have on the guys. And the guys, actually, what they do is they chase around the ladies with pussy willow sticks, with the pussy willow stone, and we hit you on the dupaya, which is your fanny, and we don't hit you really hard unless you're really into something like that. But when I was younger, it kind of escaped me a little bit. I didn't really participate that much in Dingus Day. But in Buffalo, on the east side of Buffalo, what they do is they celebrate Dingus Day at the Central Terminal. The Central Terminal is a huge train terminal that was really big back in the day. A lot of the train in World War II, and it's a beautiful arch fallen on very hard times. But I know they've been trying for years to have a rebirth on the east side with the Central Terminal. I know they've had a lot of money invested in that area. And it's beautiful. I mean, it's been in so many movies, and one movie that I know it was in for sure was The Natural. A lot of places in Buffalo actually had movie shot there. I mean, the old baseball stadium and things like that. And it's just a beautiful area. Well, when we started going, God, it's got to be over 20 years ago. Now, remember me telling you the central terminal was empty. There was nothing in there. I mean, there's water coming through the roof. It was just not the greatest thing in the world. And it was cold because, you know, Easter is on different days every year. And when it is in March, you never know. I mean, I've been in Dingus Day where it's been 80 degrees, and I've been to Dingus Day when it was like snowing, sleeting, and everything like that. It was just god awful. But it was a lot of fun. And where I'm going with this, the first year that we went, in the central terminal, they had over 45,000 people at the central terminal. And I'm going to share this. So it's not only are they showing pictures of the central terminal, they're showing 6 pictures of the Dingus Day Parade. And this is the Polish Heritage Dancers, which my one daughter was a part of for many, many years. I got to know how many times that guy was trying to put those eggs on. Look at that, that's freaking amazing. You know, and then they have traditional stuff, because what you'll do is you'll go to St. Stan's, which is a Polish church and school, and the Felician nuns do all the cooking by hand. So you got the gołąbki, you got the pierog, you got the sausage with the sauerkraut. Ah, delicious, delicious. I'm getting hungry just talking about it. And you would always drink Tilsky beer. Tilsky beer is a Irish brand of beer that I have only seen it at the central terminal during Dingus Day. And it's okay. It's a little bit, I'd say a little bit caramely. I know the years ago when I did drink, I used to love drinking the Molson Triple X, Triple S. It wasn't X-rated. It should have been, because it knocks you on your fanny. But it actually, to me, it had like a caramely taste to it. But oh my God, look at that one people down there. They got pictures of, they're dressed up as pierogi. That's awesome. And if you're wondering what that word is, piwa, piwa is actually the Polish word for beer. Oh, look at that. That's pretty cool. But I mean, we always had so much fun, and Tilsky beer was the big beer there. And then also on Dingus Day, the big liquor in Poland is krupnik. I don't know if anybody's had any krupnik before, but krupnik is actually a honey liqueur. And when I was drinking, I'll tell you, that stuff is lethal. It is just so strong. And one time we were at Hoppers, a bunch of us on Seneca Street with all of our Irish friends that were Polish. Like it's funny because like on St. Patrick's Day, everybody's Irish. Well, on Dingus Day, everybody's Polish. And we would say, you know, we would just kitty out. Everybody put in $20 and we drank until it's gone. And we would do shots every once in a while. Shots. And I would also always want krupnik. And the young ladies that we were with would always like Fireball, which I love cinnamon, but I was never a big fan of the Fireball. And so the guy was lining up the shots, pouring all the Fireball, and my krupnik was last. And by accident, he put a little bit of the Fireball in the krupnik. Oh my God. Talk about fiery krupnik. It was delicious. You know, I don't miss drinking, but I do miss the stories and the camaraderie with everybody like that. It's always a lot of fun. But the parade is fantastic. I hope they have nice weather for it this year. And it's funny because at the Broadway Market, what you would do is you would buy a pussy willow pass. Now, a pussy willow pass, what it would do is you would be able to ride a bus all over the east side of Buffalo, so you don't have to drink and drive. You know what I mean? But the reason I pulled up this last picture, because the tavern that I pulled up for you, that's Artie's. It's a little hole in the wall on the east side of Buffalo. And it seems like everybody you talk to ends up there. You know, they end up at, and I would say like a lot of the little taverns around the east side on this day probably make like 90 to 95% of their money for the year on one day. It's just insanity. You know, and I always felt bad for the ladies because it's hard to find some place to go to the bathroom during Dingus Day. You know, they have tons of porta potties, but when you have people that are drinking all day, yeah, good luck with that, my friends. You know, but I do miss that I'm not going to be home for Dingus Day. And another thing that I miss is the local market on the east side of Buffalo is called the Broadway Market. I'll show some pictures of this. Basically, the east side was mostly Polish people. And they're still open, but the Broadway Market used to be thriving. I mean, if you look at the one picture, this is how it was all the time, wall-to-wall people. I mean, during the non-Easter season, that's what you see. You see it's not really crowded or that. And it's really sad because when I go back to Buffalo, I always go to Lupa's Market. And I don't like the fresh Polish sausage. I always like the smoked. So I always get at least a pound for that. And my tradition in my family, what we would do is that I would boil the Polish sausage, slice it, start frying it up in the pan, let the grease all get going, and then add in scrambled eggs. And it was delicious. A little bit of toast, a little bit of butter. And believe it or not, the best thing to have with that meal is a nice cold glass of chocolate milk. So like I said, during the year, the Broadway Market isn't very busy, you know, but during Easter week, they average 45,000 people a day. So that just blows me away because you always run into people that you haven't seen in many, many years. Because the Broadway Market, I mean, my father went there, all his brothers and sisters went there. And the tradition when I would always take my girls there every couple of weeks, you know, even not during the Easter season. It was just delicious, the stuff they had. Let me show you some of the food. The only thing I gotta say is, there's a butter lamb. A butter lamb is basically whipped butter in the shape of a lamb. And yeah, that's what it is. I didn't want to do that. I'm sorry. Hit the wrong one. And that's a delicious sausage. I mean, I really like getting the pierogi from there. Oh man, I'm getting hungry just looking at all the sausage in there. Now, if you see what I mean, the light sausage here, that's actually the fresh sausage. I just never really been a big fan of it. But I can't imagine the amount of meat and the amount of people that they go through that week, you know, because you got to take a little ticket and wait in line forever. And actually, let's see here. I want to go back to the Central Terminal. So once again, like I said, probably like 20 years ago, I'd say maybe 45,000 people were at the Dingus Day celebration. And then it kept getting bigger and bigger. So I haven't celebrated Dingus Day in Buffalo probably in a good 2 years. But the last time that I did, they had a crowd of 75,000 people. It just blows me away, you know. And I'm a big guy on tradition. I'm also wanting to give a little bit more history of it because, like I said, it's only celebrated in a few communities in the United States. So Dingus Day is a Polish-American celebration of the Monday after Easter, blah, 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 blah. In the United States, with Buffalo, New York being the most well-known. Yep, it's basically the Dingus Day capital of the world on that day. Other cities that celebrate Dingus Day include Cleveland, Ohio, South Bend, Indiana, and Chicago, Illinois, which I'm really surprised because Becca's from the Chicagoland area, and she never knew what Dingus Day was, which is kind of interesting to me. But like I said, it's a good thing. It's a good tradition. I mean, it's good for families, but it's good to see like the people you haven't seen all years. I ran into a couple of years ago. I ran into something I haven't seen from high school in a million years, you know. And it's just nice to have a tradition where it keeps on going every year. When I first moved here, I talked to Texas. I talked to a local businessman in the McKinney area, and we're banging around that we want to have Dingus Day in Texas, because I think it would be a huge draw, especially if it's something you're looking for. You know what I mean? Because not everybody, like I said, knows what Dingus Day is. But I mean, the vibrant colors, the red and white. Oh, look at all the water over there. My goodness. And yeah, I wish I could play some polka music for you guys. Oh, look at this girl here. Oh, she's getting wrecked with the water. Oh my goodness. But as you see, I kind of really enjoy talking about this, and I do miss my family on days like this, because everybody goes in their different directions, and I would love to see this tradition go on with my kids. Oh my God, those guys are getting drenched with the water. That is unbelievable. Crazy. Another thing that my daughters the tradition they would do every year is they would get what they called Polish halos, which were like these wires that went around, and they had like all these ribbons, and that's what they called them, Polish halos. They loved wearing them. They lasted like a day or two, and you just bought another one next year. Pretty smart. But like I said, I wanted to do this beforehand, before the holiday on Monday, because we have a full week of shows. Like I said, on Monday, on Dingus Day, we are going to be having Buffalo Fights. That's our fighting show. We talk a little bit about this, a little bit about that, mostly combat sports. Sometimes they are something that is well known, sometimes not so much. But we'll have a big show on that. On Tuesday, we are going to have our news show, EVI News for You, which we do a little bit of news, a little bit of pop culture, and with everything going so crazy in the world, it's always, we never run out of topics, I guess, to talk about. I'm going to get hollered at by Donnie. I know I am, because I'm sure he's watching. I forgot to do our other sponsor. And we've had this sponsor on before, and the ladies seem to really enjoy it. Our sponsor for this part of the show is Handful.com. That's HANDFUL.com. Handful offers ultimate versatility, comfort, and style within sports bras, providing unparalleled support and perfect fit for every activity. It's featured in Shape, Oxygen, and Runner's World. Customers say, the best sports bra I've ever owned. Enjoy exclusive listener discount with the promo code Buffalo, which will actually give you 30% off. And I know how expensive these things are, because I know my daughters tell me all the time how expensive it is buying bras. So check out our sponsor, which is Handful.com. And if you got kidney stones, check out MoonstoneTradition.com. On both places, if you use the promo code Buffalo, you'll get 30% off. So I really enjoyed talking about my family's tradition. This is kind of like a thank you card to my family, to my aunts and uncles that are no longer with us, Aunt Alice, Aunt Helen, Uncle Bob, Uncle Hank, Aunt Henrietta. Isn't it funny? I had an Aunt Hank and an Uncle Hank. Who knew? Only us Polacks. And I am half Irish too. So I get the best of both worlds, I guess, you know. And another tradition we have is that we weren't like super religious, but we would always want to think of our relatives that were no longer with us. So on Easter Saturday, we would actually take all of our food that we were going to eat on Christmas Day, excuse me, on Easter Day, and we would have it blessed. And we would actually go to the church that my family went to since they were little kids. And it's no longer with us. They just knocked it down, I think, last year or the year before. And afterwards, we would go to the cemeteries to, you know, for the loved ones that we lost and put flowers on their graves. And afterwards, we'd end up at Aunt Alice's house, and she would have so many, all kinds of meats, all kinds of rolls, all kinds of desserts. Aunt Alice used to make homemade cheese puffs that were just awesome. They're fantastic. So I'm all about tradition, you know. Hopefully I can bring this tradition to my grandkids, you know, and I'm just having a lot of fun sharing this with everybody. So I hope everybody enjoyed it. Listen, I'm going to let everybody go. I hope everybody has a wonderful holiday weekend with their family. Just be safe out there. And I'm going to end the show like I always do. If you like working with people that are just like you, have the same values that you do, want to protect your family like we do, you can reach out to me at eddiebuffaloinsurance@gmail.com. And you can even call our hotline. It's 903-662-1564. So once again, have a wonderful holiday season. I'm glad I could share my traditions with you. And Happy Dingus Day to everyone a little bit early. And remember, life is definitely worth living. What you got to do is got to keep on fighting. My TikTok friends, YouTube people, and everybody else. So have a great day, everybody. Take care. Bye.